We are back. We will be discussing season 3, episode 9 of The Family Chantel. At the start of this episode, the family is at Karen's house. That's Chantel's mother. They are having a bonfire in the front and talking about Winter's breakup with Ja. Yeah, Chantel and her mom are just checking up on Winter and making sure that Winter is okay. And Winter is saying how she is untying herself from the situation with Ja and getting back to her. And she says that she was not loving herself enough, and now she's finding that love again. She also said it's hard being away from Ja's daughter because she's been there since his daughter was a baby, and she's been raising her. Her and Ja have been raising her, and she calls Winter mom. And so that is taking a toll on her. And as she's sitting there telling them that, she pulls out this letter. She's reading this letter, and her mom was like, "What is that?" And she said, "It's a letter from Ja." And her mom was like, "Give me that letter. Give me that letter now." And her mom takes that letter, balls it up, and throws it in that bonfire. So we go to Pedro calling Chantel. He's calling Chantel because of the situation that went on at his grandma's house during the last episode. And he's telling her about all the craziness that was going on, and that he realizes that all of the women in his family was with married men. And he is not cool with that. And Pedro is telling Chantel that he would like her to come to the Dominican Republic just to give him support. And he doesn't want her getting involved with the family. He just wants support from her. And she said, "I'll book my ticket." And she asked him if it would be okay if he brings Winter. And at first he was like, no. Just you. I just want you to come for you to support me. And she lets him know about Winter and Ja breaking up, and that she just wants to uplift Winter's spirits. And he was like, they broke up 1,000,000 times before. And Chantel was like, "Nah, it's real this time. I believe it's real this time. And I just want to bring her to get, so she can get some fresh space and get away from Atlanta for a minute." And he was like, "That's fine, bring Winter and everything." And he said, "I just do not want you to come out here and start acting crazy." And she's like, "Okay." So now they go back to Chantel's mom's house and back at the bonfire. And they ask Winter if there is anything else that she wants to get rid of. And she said, "Yeah, like all the stuff that Ja gave me, it was teddy bears and letters that he has written her." She said she even has some chocolates. And they was like, "Go get all that stuff." So she goes up there, they get all that stuff, and they start throwing everything in that bonfire. But her mama was like, "Yeah, let me get one of them chocolates before we burn the rest of them." But they start burning everything in that fire. They are trying to get rid of anything that has anything to do with Ja. This family did not like him at all. And so, they're sitting down. They're all sitting down around the fire. And Chantel is telling them that, Pedro is going through it in the DR, and that she's going to go out there. And she wanted to invite Winter to go out there, just for a change of scenery and, to get her bearings. And before Winter could ask, Karen was like, "Oh, I'd love to go." And she was like, "Mom, I didn't invite you." And she was like, "Yes, we can go and we can have a good time. And I have not been to the DR with my girls in a while, and I would love to go." So basically, Karen invited herself. And then Winter was like, "I would love to go, Chantel." So now all three of them are going to the DR. Now we head over to the DR. We're back at Grandma's house. Grandma and Lydia and one of the cousins, they're all sitting on the porch discussing everything that happened. And Lydia is upset at Pedro questioning all of the women in the family and the fact that all of the women had children by married men. And Grandma is asking, so Grandma was like, Lydia, are you going to reach out to Pedro's father? And Lydia was like, no, why should I? And she was like, if Pedro wants to pursue this, let him pursue this. If he wants to find them, let him find them. But I'm out of it. I ain't got nothing to do with it and don't want nothing to do with it. She is not trying to help Pedro in the least. She was like, if Pedro wants to go on this embargo to find his father and his siblings, that is something that boy is going to have to do by himself. Don't come to her. Don't ask her nothing. She's out of it. That's a grown man, and she don't want nothing else to do with it. So now Pedro, Lydia, and Nicole are finally leaving their grandma's compound, and they're on their way back home. So they're driving. Nicole is going off, and she's like, she's pissed about everything that happened. She said she's never in her 26 years, she has never been to their grandma's compound and had such a miserable time. And it's because Pedro is asking all these questions and blaming all the women in the family for everything that's going on, and the fact that everybody is messing with married men and whatnot, and that she just had a horrible time. And she believes it's because of Chantel and her family. And she was saying that Chantel's family is so crazy that it ran off on Pedro, and he's bringing all the drama that he has to deal with Chantel's family over to her family, and she is not liking it. So Pedro says that he wants to meet his brothers, and Lydia says, go ahead, whatever. And Nicole just sighs. And then she's fussing at Pedro again, Nicole, that is, talking about that he's been very disrespectful to their mother. And he is telling her that, no, I'm not. And she said, look, yeah, mommy did wrong. Mommy did wrong, but you don't get to talk to her the way that you've been talking to her. In my opinion, though, Pedro has not been disrespectful. He's been pissed. So some of the stuff he's saying, his tone has not been all the way correct. But how could you? I don't understand. If your mama was messing with your father, now she didn't know he was married until after she had you, but knew he was married when she got pregnant with Nicole. You finding all that out over the weekend. You find that all your grandma's kids was from a married man, and your sister is dating the married dude in New York, Alejandro, and you like, what the hell? You can't expect him to have a whole respectful tone, and y'all done gave him all this information over the weekend at grandma's house. So yeah, he was pissed off. So now we're back in Atlanta, and the ladies are getting ready they're packing up and getting ready to head to the airport to go to the DR. So back in the DR, Nicole calls Alejandro, and she's telling him about the trip to grandma's house and how crazy everything was. And Nicole says she thinks she's doing it all wrong. See, all that stuff that Pedro was saying about all them women, it got Nicole to thinking, even though she done cussed Pedro out up and down the street, it got her to thinking that maybe she's doing everything wrong, and that maybe she shouldn't really be messing with Alejandro, because Alejandro is technically married, even though he's going through a divorce. And Alejandro was like, you don't even need to listen to your brother and everything. And she said she's doubting everyone right now. But then Alejandro turns, he says to her, Nicole, I have to tell you, my divorce was just finalized. And she's in shock. She was like, no, it's not. Why are you playing with me? He said, I am telling you the truth. In his confessional, he was like, my divorce is finalized. I was waiting to tell Nicole, but I'm just gonna tell her now. But Nicole's thinking he's lying, that he's just telling her this to calm her down because she's so upset about everything Pedro said over the weekend. But he was like, look, I'm telling the truth. I am single. We can just go ahead and move forward. And she tells him that Chantel is coming and that she's not happy with that because she can't stand Chantel. As a matter of fact, she owes Chantel a fight. And when she gets here, and she said, unless Chantel wants her ass whooped, she better not come nowhere near me. She better stay away from me. And now Pedro, it goes to Pedro. Pedro is on his way to the airport. And he's looking miserable in the car. And he's like, man, I'm on my way to the airport to pick up Chantel and Winter. And Chantel tells me that Karen came also. He was like, I don't want to deal with them and deal with my family. That's going to drive me crazy. He said, I want Chantel's family to stay as far away as possible from my family because that is oil and water. They do not mix. He does not want any drama. And he knows that Karen, and it's basically Karen. Karen is going to stir up some drama. He said he just had enough. He don't need no more. And so we're flashing back. They're in the car. He picks them up. They're in the car. And, you know, they're driving to their destination. And Pedro asks Winter, you know, like, what's up with her and Ja? And Winter is telling him all about the breakup and what happened. And she says she's finally finished. And he asked her, what about Liani? And Liani is Ja's daughter that him and Winter raised. And she lets him know that Ja told her that she can't have anything to do with Liani anymore. And of course this upset her because she's been taking care of that baby since she was a baby. And I think the girl is like 6 now. The girl was calling Winter mom. And Ja is using that baby to get back at Winter, or as a lure to try to get Winter back. And Winter does not want him back. She does not want to go back. But that's pissing her off. And taking a child away from her, that's a hurtful thing. So that was this episode of The Family Chantel. And now we can get into my song of the day. And that is Yams by Masego featuring Devin Morrison. This song has been on repeat in my car all week since I think it came out Friday. But it is my jam. I listen to it, I put it on repeat. As a matter of fact, this past weekend when me and my friend went to the New Black Wall Street, I took her phone and put it all in there so it'll come on in her car. So we were jamming, and I have yet to see Masego in concert, but I have seen Devin Morrison in concert. He opened up for Moonchild when we went to go see Moonchild right before the lockdown. So that was the last concert that I went to, was Moonchild, when they came to Atlanta in 2019. But yes, check out Yams. It is the jam. It's nice. It's mid-tempo. It's mid-tempo, so you get a nice groove in your shoulders when you listen to it. And I'll post it actually on my YouTube, and you can give it a listen there. So that's pretty much it for today. You all like, subscribe, and share. And y'all have a good week. Until next time. Bye-bye.